Sci-fi is easily my favorite genre out of any sort of genre, whether it's sci-fi horror, sci-fi thriller, sci-fi psychological thriller, whatever the case have you. I love sci-fi. I think it's the reason why I prefer zombies so much. Zombies fall into almost every single aspect, every single category of sci-fi. They can be sci-fi horror, they can be sci-fi psychological, they can be sci-fi thriller. Whatever the case may be, zombies are the pinnacle of sci-fi. However, they are not my favorite sci-fi creature, and I kind of want to take a step away from that genre for a little bit. Because not everything about my channel is zombies, especially not Call of Duty zombies. If you can't tell by my channel name, and if you can't tell by my avatar, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. So anything that has to do with sci-fi in space, I am 100% there for. Whether it's on an alien planet, whether it have to do with aliens, or whether it has to do with futuristic technology, I am 100% on board every single time. And that brings us neatly along to this game, which is titled Returnal is one of the most interesting / unique games that I have ever played in my entire life. The entire game's premise is to make you think outside the box and make you plan your next move. Yes, the game is very linear, but that linearity has a point to it. Every single time you respond, the world changes very slightly depending on your playstyle. And it's honestly kind of brilliant on how it does it. Now, before we get into everything, I just want to say that this game came out July 30th, 2021. The only reason why I'm saying that is so I'm not told by someone in the comments that the game did not come out yesterday. A lot of the games that I review, I'm aware on how old they are. I get it, they didn't come out yesterday. However, I don't want that to stop me from talking about games that interest me, and maybe things that people have never even heard of before, or never even played before, and maybe my reviews can help them try it out for themselves, or decide whether or not they want to waste their money on it, or spend their money on it, however you see it. But anyways, if you want to pick up this game, it is actually free right now on PS Plus. With all that out of the way, roll the intro. Returnal has one of the best opening cutscenes I've seen in a video game ever. I think the reason why this opening cutscene succeeds so much is because it's throwing you into a universe that already exists. It's already been established. This character already exists. She's already been established. It does not hold your hand and it's expecting you to keep up. And that's why I think this succeeds so well. But hey, don't take my word for it, just check it out for yourself. God, that cutscene kicked so much ass. I love that the game acknowledges that we are intelligent. The game acknowledges that we can kind of figure out what's going on for ourselves. We understand that she's a pilot, we understand that she's going to a place that she's not supposed to be, and we understand that she's tracking a signal. Now, we don't know why she's tracking the signal, and we don't know why she's going to a place she's not supposed to be, but it's still intriguing nonetheless, and the game lets us figure it out for ourselves. Another thing that works so well about this cutscene is that she does not say a single word, because she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to look at the camera and say, I'm an astronaut, or have an internal monologue playing in her head saying why she's an astronaut and why she's going where she's going. We're going to figure that out as we play the game. Right now, we're just seeing what's happening. We're seeing the beginning of this Returnal. Spoilers. Anyways, we're seeing the beginning of this game. We're seeing why we're here. The game doesn't need to explain why we're here. The game is just showing us why we're here, and it works flawlessly.
Astra, this is Celine. I've crashed on Atropos. I survived, but Helios did not. Suit status operational, but my sidearm is missing. I'm leaving comms open.
Just from this little bit of dialogue, we learn that her name is Celine, we learn that her ship's name is Helios, and we learn that the planet's name is Astropos. Now, some people already knew that from the screen that she was looking at, but I'm dyslexic, I can't read, so that's a big piece of information for me. Don't judge me. Anyways, so we figure out that she's on this strange alien planet. She was clearly sent here by someone, but no one's reaching her back on comms. Also, I just want to say that this world is absolutely beautiful. Yes, it is very linear, you can really only go in certain places that the game wants you to, but the game is still gorgeous. This world is gorgeous, and it's fun learning about it. It's fun seeing it through her eyes, and it's fun trying to figure out why you're here and what's happening. But we still haven't made it to the most interesting part of the game. And well, what better way to talk about this part than let the game speak for itself.
Scout log, Atropos. I have found a deceased Astra Scout here. Checking identification on helmet. It's... my sidearm. Continuing towards the signal's origin.
I love how this game does not pull any punches. There's no doubt that the dead astronaut on the ground is you. It's the character that you're playing as, and it's up to you to figure out what's going on. Again, the game pretty much kind of just spoon feeds you information on what's been happening and how she's died, how she has come back to life, and where she actually is and why this planet is doing this to her. Now, I have my own little theory, but I figure I'll save that for when I go deeper into the game. And honestly, I don't know if I'll do a full review on this series. That's totally up to you guys. As you know, I do my review in parts. But honestly, I'd like to talk about this game more, and if you guys like what if you guys like what you're seeing and like what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comment section below. But anyways, as you find these dead bodies, as you find these other Sylvias, you can actually listen to audio recordings that she leaves behind. And honestly, I think they're super interesting, and it sheds a little bit of light on what's happened, and it helps you plan for the future. As this is not only just a sci-fi game, it's also kind of a puzzle game, because every move that you make counts. You have to plan out what's going to happen next, and you have to figure out what you need to do next. That is the key part of this game. So let's listen to the first audio log, shall we?
Recorded log found. Adding to databank. Playing back now. Scout log. Atropos. Elapsed time 30 minutes since last crash. Whole areas of this forest are rearranging themselves like a fluid puzzle after each of my... Whenever I return, per Astra Protocol, I will not be recovered until I reach the broadcast signal. If you're hearing this, you are stuck here too.
Almost every single audio recording is like this. It gives you a hint, it gives you a clue on what you need to do next. As we find out, we can't be recovered until we get to the signal, till we get to the astro signal. And we're stuck here. It also tells us that sometimes during these revivals, or these returnals as the game's called, she remembers. But there's definitely a point where she forgets, and it's like she's experiencing for the first time all over again. We are playing at a part where she has forgotten, and now she's experiencing, it's like she's experienced them all over again. However, the game, through the dead bodies that you find, heavily implies that she's potentially been doing this for thousands of years. And that's honestly terrifying. There's really no set time limit to how long she's been doing this, but again, it's heavily implied that she's been doing this for a while. And that's kind of crazy. I love how this is kind of like I don't know, it's almost kind of like a Groundhog Day in space, and it's just so, it's chef's kiss. Now, there's actually something that I want to talk about real quick that's just a little side note. I just want to bring up these little tendril things right here. They look dangerous and look like they might attack you, but they don't really do anything. I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe they're not important. I just wanted to bring them up. They're not important. Don't even think about them. Alright, back on with the review. Something that this game is really good at doing is shrouding everything about this planet in mystery. As you can see, there's this giant orb right here. It almost looks like a brain. It almost looks like the planet is thinking somehow. And then as you run across the ground, you run into these things, which are, they look like people, like dead creatures that have died on this planet, that have lived here, that have socialized, and now they're dead. Maybe the same thing has happened to them. Maybe they're just like you. The game never really explains because it doesn't have to. It leaves you guessing. It leaves it ambiguous, and that is one of the best aspects of this game, on how ambiguous everything is and letting you figure it out as you go, drawing up your own conclusions as to what happened and learning from your previous mistakes. The whole point of this game is to die, to respawn, learn from your mistakes, and try to get further every single time. However, every single time you respawn, the forest is just a little bit different, and the enemies are just a little bit tougher. In fact, you're about to see my first death right here. And, yeah, I'm gonna show it. It's not pretty. I was totally ill-equipped, had no idea what I was doing, and did not have the right gun for the job, and of course, I restarted. God, this game's cutscenes are so good. Something I absolutely love about this game is it almost subtly breaks the fourth wall in its own manner of speaking. She's only remembering now because we have picked up the controller, because we have decided to play the game. Now again, it is heavily implied through some of the audio recordings that you find that she has remembered in the past, however, over a certain period of time, she forgets. Or maybe there's a copy of her that does in fact remember what's going on. However, we don't really know. The game keeps it ambiguous, and again, I really like it that way. Something that ties really well into the theme of the game is the combat. Every single time you kill a creature, you level up. However, every single time you get hit by said creature, you actually go down to level 0. The reason why this ties so well in the theme of the game is because the game is letting you know when you're reckless and careless, you will restart from the beginning. Just like if you're reckless and careless in combat, you're going to restart at level 0. You get the same consequences for being bad at combat as you would if you died in the game. And I think that's a super interesting aspect. I honestly love everything about this game. Now, there are a few flaws, as this game is actually meant to be played online and with friends, and it is very, very difficult playing it solo. So it's not really meant for single players, as it's more meant for a co-op experience. However, you can play it offline like me and still get a good experience out of it. Just be aware, it's gonna be much, much more difficult. Honestly, I think that's about it. There's really not much to say about. Hey, that thing looks kind of cool. I wonder what that's for. Hey, that guy kind of looks familiar. He looks like the other guy. Wait just a second. What? Oh my god.